Whenever you're ready, we can start.
Yeah, they're good ones, though.
Okay, let's go ahead and start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing on the agenda is, well, one thing I wanted, to keep in order on the public comment, we've asked some people to sign in, and we'll have, like the council does, we'll do a 4-minute allowance for anyone that wants to speak in the public comments. So we do have a sign-up sheet here if somebody wants to speak. First thing on the agenda is Pam Goffman.
Okay, the first thing I have is payroll that was distributed on August the 30th for all county employees for $147,609.39.
Any discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Motion made and second. Vote by roll call. Randy?
Aye.
Greg?
Aye.
Motion made, approved. I also vote aye. Motion made, approved, 3-0.
Okay, the next thing I have is claims that were dated tonight, 9/2 of /21. That'll be sent out tomorrow and Tuesday. With county general, highway, and advances that we made, the total is $627,403.56.
Discussion?
Motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion made, second. We'll vote by roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Motion made, second, carried 3-0. Also vote aye.
Okay, next are minutes from July the 6th. I think Teresa sent these to you for your review.
I sent some amendments to it. I don't know if you guys got that email this afternoon or not, but I sent those out, so.
Yeah, and I agree with the amendment. Did they make it to?
No,
the
I will
amendment?
get them on there before they are put in the records.
Okay.
Thanks, Pam. So a motion to approve with the amendments?
I'll second that.
Motion made and second. Vote by roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Motion made, second, carried 3-0. Also vote
Okay.
aye.
And then the last thing that I have is an additional appropriation. You got the additional. That we need to request, that we're requesting, well, actually, we want to amend the additional that you had done at a previous meeting for computer system maintenance, where we had first asked for $18,000 at that meeting, and we split it between CUMCAP and Riverboat. Well, since then, of course, I've been working with Franzman's Insurance to try to get all of our policies up to date and redone. We come into a situation with cybersecurity and with all the changes that are happening now and all the ransomware and things, that they are advising that we have to get a multi-factor verification, thank you, that's all simple. Policy or put into place for all county employees for their computers to be able to sign on and stuff, and with the emails. At this point, if we do not do this, they have only found 2 companies that were willing to even insure us without it. And they're telling me that the cost would be astronomical compared to us paying to put the multi-factor verification on. So the charge that we worked with Anjan with N Island, for him to get it on 54 computers, I think it is. 100 computers at $54 each. It's $5,400, and this will be a yearly fee that we will have to pay along with our other stuff. So we're looking that if we could amend the additional appropriation now to $23,400 to take before the council in September, where $8,000 will come out of CUMCAP, and then we're asking $15,400 to come from the Riverboat Fund.
Makes sense?
It's common practice. Common practice nowadays. Everybody does it.
Today's world, isn't it?
Yes, unfortunately. It's,
Any other discussion? like I said, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to entertain a motion to amend the,
I'll make that motion.
Second.
same motion made, second, vote by roll call, Randy.
Aye.
Great.
Aye.
Motion made, second, carried 3-0.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right, next on the agenda is Steve Howell. The Highway Department.
I have a request for an additional appropriation of $100,000 into bituminous. This is to help us meet our 50% in the restricted fund, MVH restricted. And we didn't put any money in bituminous. All we had was our edit and our community crossings. And usually, every year we go and, after the first year, we go and appropriate some money into bituminous. We hadn't done that this year. But we're gonna need this to meet the 50% match for the restricted.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and second, roll call, Greg.
Aye.
Randy.
Aye.
Motion made, second, carried 3-0.
That's all I had. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Thanks, Steve.
thanks for putting that all together. All right, this is for the appropriation. What's that?
Oh, the other two.
The other two need to sign it. Both, the whole name not on it, you need to, that's for the additional appropriation. Okay. All right. Next on the agenda, we're going to allow the public comments of people that have signed up. First one on the list is Jim Carter.
No, I'm gonna refer,
No, we're going to do public comments.
yes, I know, but I would like to wait until I hear what Director Jerma was gonna make a statement.
No, the public comments are now.
Well, I'd like to wait.
Okay, the public comments are now, Jim. Please come up and tell us what you got in mind.
Well, I can come up, but it has to do with, I want to listen to his presentation, then I can make a public comment. I would like to refer until after his presentation because it's under miscellaneous, and I think that should be possible since it's under miscellaneous. And he's going to make a presentation, and I'd like to make a comment, because I don't know what he's going to say, but I'd like to hear it, and then I'd like to make a public comment on what his presentation is. Okay? That's up to you guys.
It'll still be a 4-minute.
Oh, sure. Oh, no.
All
It's
right,
no big deal.
we'll allow it this time. Next one on it is Herb Lane. You have something?
I sent you guys a few emails. If you can look at them and let us know, we'd like to make a couple changes to the ordinance. See what you all think about that and rewording a couple things. One of them is like where there's an issue with the page 16 states that the animal board has to make the decision on where an animal is quarantined. I've spoke with Dr. Brent Marsh and the Indiana Department of Health. That falls under the health department, and basically it's usually in the residence of the place if that meets the state guidelines. If not, when we ever get a shelter, you can go there. But there's really no reason for the health department to have to stop when they're investigating a dog bite or something and call the chairman of the board and let him try to get the other 4 people to vote to decide where an animal needs to be quarantined, when that health officer is standing there looking at the dog, talking to the people, and can make that decision. So Dr. Marsh agreed that if we revamp that and put at the end of that where it says the board, if we put at the end of that and our county health officer or agent, he said we don't really need it, but that would take care of it.
That's some confusion?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yes, I did read it. I haven't discussed it. I would make sure it's legal with Chris, so I would like to.
It sounds right, but I'll look at it. It's the
Yeah,
first time I've done it, so.
I would rather wait for an opinion from Chris,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's,
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to vote on something.
I would agree, it's typically the health officer that makes
Without it being on the agenda too, as a solid item, I'd hate to make a policy.
Well, that's what I was wanting you to do, is just look at it. That's why I sent you the email this last week or so. Okay, and that's all I want you to look at, is make a decision, because there's another one on there too.
I'll look at it.
All right, and then the other thing is more or less for Chris also. I've been working with, which when the coroner gets their van going, if we still get to use that other van, is need you all to think about if the county will license, insure it, and provide a gas card if we provide the drivers. And I found a low-cost spade and neuter clinic at Louisville, Kentucky. Martin County just opened one at Lagodi and Evansville, where they do spade and neuter for $30 and $50. So if we can get something set up, we're working with the company, the board is working with a company right now out of Seymour to see how they're doing theirs. And this is not a given, but something like we'll publicize that September the 10th. We got 10, 15, or 20 spots available to go to Louisville, Lagodi, or wherever. And then you contact us and we'll schedule the first 10 or 15. You meet us either here, the sheriff's parking lot, someplace. Put your cats or dogs on that van and we'll transport them to the low-cost clinic, have them spayed or neutered, and the driver will stay and bring them back that afternoon. And by doing that, with the overpopulation of cats we've got, if we can do that, it will help, and that will be for strays, feral cats, pets, or anything.
I think we just have to work out the details.
I didn't look at the insurance, but assuming we can cover it with the insurance.
Yeah, I mean, as far as insuring the vehicle
It'll be
and
insured,
license,
right.
that falls within our budget, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so that,
And we'd have to have a list of drivers, that's
With
We can-
insurance to drive it, yeah.
Yeah, and the driver's license. And
We can provide that. I incorporated a PCAH a few years ago and then found out at the same time the shelter was shutting down. So that's Perry County Animal Haulers. The original design of that is to help the sheriff's department and the city police transport animals to a shelter. But I can go ahead and reactivate it, and we can put the people in that group, and it'll be a nonprofit group, and there'll have to be somebody that's listed with that group and sign whatever papers Chris needs before they drive.
Okay.
Okay, one other thing. I sent you all this, I believe, last week. On the money that is in the account currently from the shelter, that money is earmarked for animal control, welfare, housing, and care. So why couldn't some of that money be used to spade and neuter some of the cats that's in the overpopulated areas back in Canton and Tell City?
Chris?
Yeah.
No issue?
I mean, no, if we had an animal shelter, they'd be taken there, and that's what the animal shelter would use the funds for, is to spay and neuter.
Well, that's what we would take them to, these low-cost spade and neuter clinics, take them back, and we would get with every resident before we did it to get permission to be on their property and see that they agree that we take them, get them altered, and bring them back. Because right now, they've got a continuous growing population, and the tomcats are fighting and spraying everything and going in the flower bed, and the female cats, when they're in heat, are a nuisance, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger. It's not that I'm a big fan of the TNR, but if you take them back this way, they're going to have those 20. And actually, when we take them back, we will log how many is at the 4th Street Colony, Green Meadows Colony, Sulphur Colony, or whatever. And by taking them back where they're not getting more populated over a period of time, the population will start decreasing just from natural passing away and getting run over by cars and whatever. But it's a lot less, it's not an answer, but it's a lot less burden on the people in the area.
What would be the process, Pam, for claims?
Well, claims are turned in once a month, and then that way we work that up to pay the checks. I mean, because it's not something that we're looking at, a checks would be, or you be wanting a check every day or every
No.
other day, would it?
No.
Okay.
We
'Cause
could
can
probably,
get you a listing as far as the dates that we kind of like for the claims to be turned in.
I'm not sure at this time whether we might be able to even have these clinics billed the county direct and you send a check to them. I don't know.
Okay, so maybe we can get together and we can get that
Yep.
talked about, okay?
Get the process.
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
With that said, I mean, that's, animal shelter, we have, how much in that account now? We're doing updates to that.
$45,626.87.
Yeah, we have that, we have a very nice building, and we have
And this next one
budgeted
hasn't gone in yet.
$35,000 from the county and $35,000 from the city for animal shelter. So we're just looking for operators. Herbie's been working with It Takes a Village, and they've run into one snare after another. One of the things that we have lacked, that I've said many times, is we lack transportation of the animals. I mean, we have law enforcement to take care of it, but I don't want to see law enforcement carrying animals. So with that said, something has come up this week, and Greg has been talking to them more, and I'll let you take over from here. But it's good news, I think.
I think so. And it's nothing we can act on tonight, but I just wanted to put it out there, so that's why we have it here, so. I've been working on the animal shelter for a while now, and I had some updates on the shelter itself that I'll give it a little bit, but right now I would like to propose a temporary solution. While trying to find help with vet services for the animal shelter, I've talked to a ton of people locally and in different counties. Recently I was put in touch with another county shelter. They have established agreements with other counties to provide animal control services. After hearing about the program, I'd asked if they would be willing to enter into a similar agreement with Perry County while we worked on getting the shelter up and running. Just recently, we confirmed that they would. This is not a long-term solution, but we need to do something now. Can't hear? Oh, I thought, never mind. Oh, that's okay. I thought maybe you could hear. This is tools to supplement what they already have. If the officer needed help with sheltering a stray, they would help. If the officer needed them on site to take over an incident, they would come and do that as well. If an animal needs to be quarantined for 10 days, they have those services as well. Animals they take in for us will have vet services provided as to not take away from what we already have secured, possibly for the animal shelter. Costs for the services are reasonable. On-site incidents cost $275. This is for 1 dog or 5 cats or 2 dogs. It's not based on the number of animals, it's based on the trip. So basically it allows them they can be here for 2 hours or they can be here all day working on stuff, either way. 10-day quarantine services are a flat $100, which means $10 a day. Also, if we update the roof and current outside runs, as we suggested before, was suggested to us before, we would have a place to temporarily house animals to be retrieved and taken to the shelter. So let's say the officers actually catch 2 or 3 strays and they're actually able to house them there in those outside runs. They would actually come and pick up those strays as well and take care of them for us. I realize this is not a perfect solution, but at least it's a step in the right direction. It doesn't replace our local officers, but it gives our local officers another set of tools to use, especially when it comes to housing. As for our own shelter being opened, really it goes down to 3 things. Volunteer base, which I think we have. I really think we have that. An organization to run the shelter, which I think we have that as well. Maybe even a couple possibilities at this point. Vet services, because you can't run a shelter without someone to spade and neuter the animals. The last item is the roadblock. After scouring all the surrounding counties, I've actually found 5 vets spread from Princeton to Corden that will help us the best they can, but still we're 2 surgeries a week short of what they used to do at the old animal shelter. I think to overcome this long term, we've got to attract a vet to Perry County. So to that point, I'm working with several people from Kathy Bursteed, Wendy Rich, Aaron Emerson, Mayor Kale, and others. We have found a local citizen that was graciously hired a headhunter to look for a vet to relocate here on their own dime. This would allow, we are working with Indiana State Vet to make Perry County an area of need. This would allow the vet who worked here to get student loan forgiveness. We are working into setting up low interest rate loans possibly. Dr. Labhart is currently looking for someone to join his business as well, and he's offering a $10,000 signing bonus. And I would love to see the county do the same thing, just a $10,000 bonus for somebody that's willing to come and work here for X number of years. I don't know how the hell we do that, but we've got to do something to attract the vet here. So far, this effort has led to 2 potential candidates, but both in the end declined. Therefore, the search continues. And that's the key, is to find someone that actually want to relocate here. So, that's all I've got.
Okay. Randy, you have any comments on
And I want to thank Greg for finding that, 'cause, you said a key point, we need volunteers to help with it.
Yeah.
And that's what we had 25 years ago when we started the animal shelter. We need that same passion again. With all the other tools that you brought up, you know, that's better than what we've had then
Yeah.
in the last year, so it's looking a little brighter.
We got a lot of stuff to dot the i's and cross the t's before it's a thing, but I hope it helps
it?
release some of it.
At least it's movement.
Yeah.
What was that about that rumor of the shelter auctioning off all their assets and cages?
Yeah, that's actually the clinic itself. Dr. Derek's clinic is actually doing the auction, not the animal shelter.
We
So-
can't,
Yeah.
we can't auction off the shelter. It's not legal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew it was
Yeah.
Decker, the one having the auction. It's
Yeah.
nothing to do with the animal shelter.
Yeah,
I think that's new thing.
Nothing has been touched at the animal shelter.
I think that's I want to say that's in 40 days, is what, something like that?
She said 40 to 45 days. Right now, the animal place is still available for a vet.
Yeah.
But she's setting it up right now that at 40 or 45 days, a vet has not contacted her, she's gonna have an auction of all the tools, equipment, and everything inside.
Can I say something? I think that was an excellent idea that you get somebody to come in here and do that.
And that,
I think it is a very good, you can see that you've been working at it, and that solves the problems that you all are getting, or having.
Jim, do you have,
Well, that was great. I wanted to hear what he had to say, and I absolutely.
would you care to
applaud
come
for
up to the?
Sure.
And it's not for us, it's for everybody watching.
Yeah.
People
I know.
can't see people.
And I can't hear me either.
Right.
I applaud you for all the effort you have, and I agree with you, especially this is a short-term solution, and later on, we can get a long-term solution. But I also want to add to the funds that you were talking about, Pam, it's the Fund 4932 is a shelter fund that's not listed there, and it actually has $3,868 as of the May, okay? And I was talking to you last month about, let's get a roof on that outside kennel to protect everybody, liability and everything, because it's a big liability thing the way it is. In fact, I got some pictures to show you. There's just a screen over the top. And I think it was last month I gave you the last meeting I gave you a copy of the cost and the pictures and stuff like that. So we can actually get this done for less than $3,000 and with volunteers to do it. And I think Herbie agreed with me that we can get some volunteers and we can get that thing put together, right, Herb?
Yeah, and if you could work with the animal board, that'd be great.
Well, absolutely, I want to. But the other thing is, I also agree with you on getting these funds that are sitting there to be used for this neuter and spay. I thank you very much for getting that open, because that's extremely important. The only thing want you to question is, as he was talking about, is page 16. Where it says it's up to the animal control board to decide whether an animal is to be housed, okay? There's more to that than just on that statement. You also have to realize, and this is why that's why I think it should be the board make the decision, because that only refers to under rabies and under bites that they determine there could be rabies, and I agree with that the health department is involved, but the health department has to do with reporting of the rabies, not the location. And if you look through the rest of our ordinances, you will see where it states under dangerous animals. And let's look at it this way. Pam does not have time in the health department to be going out there and look at all of these individual things to see if it comes under if an animal is to be deemed dangerous. That's up to the board's decision. The board should determine whether it's dangerous or not, and then go from there, because most cases, and a lot of cases, the people don't have the facilities if that animal is deemed dangerous. But that's up to the board. The board decides whether the animal is dangerous. If it's dangerous, then they have to come under exactly what it says under the Animal Control Board. And if you want to change that, which I plead with you not to, because it protects the public, because it says the height, how that animal's supposed to be housed. So there's more to it than just, and I understand that, the health department's worked with you. Pam, Kim's done a great job, but Kim's got enough, the health department has enough problems on their shoulders right now.
No, but we do have to operate according to state statute.
And I know the state statutes, and state statute the only time that location comes under the guidance of this, that's the state veterinarian, and that is if we have a rabies epidemic. Then he makes the decision. Otherwise, they actually want the county to make the decision of where to be housed, and we have an animal control board that should be making that decision. So that's the only thing I disagree with.
We'll look into it, make sure that
Right.
it's legal.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, well, and I would like to talk to
Okay.
Chris about this myself, okay?
Oh, okay, we will.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to keep it to a minute. I mean, if we got something, we can discuss this further. I mean, you,
I have a question for Brad.
oh,
I'm
we
okay.
didn't- we didn't need to step up to the,
Okay.
yeah, and we don't, okay, just an explanation. In meetings in the past, we've gotten a lot of back and forth, and I'm trying to keep that to a minimum. I don't want to disrespect your opinion though. So, I mean, I'll allow you to come up and ask a question, that's fine. But to respect the order of things, that's why we wanted to start going with the public comment.
I didn't know what he was going to say, so.
Okay.
I understand that.
You looked into, and I heard Jim say it too, putting some kind of roof over the outside. Okay, so my question is this. Is that kennel that's outside, can anyone from the public go up to that kennel once an animal's in the kennel?
Once it's updated, and that's why I said updated and roof on it, basically, there's an inner and there's an outer. So you can't actually go to you can't go to the fence and get, close enough to the dog for them to harm you, and you can't get close enough to the dog to harm it. And that's the other reason why, he's got a picture of it right there. That's good. Yeah, so you can,
Okay,
so there's an inside and an outside, just like a double security fence almost, so.
I think we'll have to work out who cares for the animal until we can get.
I can see your concern, Jim, like,
My
kids
con-
walk up there or something. stick their
torture
hand in.
the animals, or someone throw
Yep.
poison in there,
Yep.
or
Or the
say,
opposite, someone gets too close and they don't realize, and the dog is.
right, and my concern would be with the quarantine part, say a dog bit someone, and the dog gets quarantined
Right.
to go to one of these outside kennels.
Correct.
The
Well-
parent of someone that go ahead.
If that would happen, and again, still in flux, and like I said, I's dotted and T's crossed, but in my mind, if someone has been bit by a dog and we need to quarantine it, and we don't quarantine it in-house, because that can happen too, it depends.
Yes,
But if we don't do that and we're going to quarantine it outside, to me, we would ask these people to come get it right away. It would not be.
okay, that was my concern.
But, and the outside kennels are not, unless we have somebody that's there all the time, cannot be long-term.
That was my
No.
concern.
Right. But it might be the 2 o'clock in the morning till,
Like been in the past, when an officer had to take and drop an animal off, and then when the shelter employees got there in the morning, they brought the animal inside. My concern was the animal being outside and being exposed to maybe someone's parents of someone who got bit, and they going up there
I know
seeking
exactly what
retribution.
you-
That
and
was
me and
my
Jim-
concern.
Me and Jim's had this conversation.
Okay.
Poisoning a piece of meat and throwing it over.
That
the-
was my
Exactly.
concern.
Yeah,
Okay.
Julie,
Right.
that's,
I'm Julie Dixon, I'm on the Animal
Yes,
Control Board
yes.
as
that
well.
was exactly what I went and got.
Okay.
The actual cost of a complete secure roof that would protect, to keep kids from crawling, throwing things in. And I said, I'm gonna work with you. When I said, I didn't know what all he was gonna say, but I had a general idea. And I'm really glad that you said it. And I'm also wanting to work with
with the animal control board on some of these other issues.
We would love to
Can
work
we-
with the Humane Society.
Can we get all the information together and at our next meeting or whatever, actually pull everything together?
I would love to see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Like, for all you're doing, Julie, I know you're working for a long time, you're behind the scenes, but I know you've been working.
That's right.
Yes, Herb?
Can I clarify one thing?
Yes, yeah, you need to come up here.
Which, I'm not disagreeing with Jim, but you got two different things. Quarantine an animal is one issue, and the board has worked at least 7 cases with the health department. As far as dangerous or aggressive animal, I mean, that takes double pinning and all kinds of stuff. We went out and met with people in the 3-block areas, did investigations, sent letters to the people showing them state laws, county ordinance, and what will happen if their animal is construed as dangerous or aggressive, and even can be euthanized. So, I mean, you don't put the two together. You can contact the health department yourself and ask them. Anytime they have an issue where they think there is a dangerous or aggressive animal, they will contact the board, and then we'll work with them, for them, or on their behalf, whatever it takes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Randy or Greg, any more on that? Okay. Next thing I wanted to bring up in miscellaneous is the mask mandates. We currently had passed a resolution that we would have require masks in all public areas of the courthouse while we were in red. I would like to look at, amending that to when we go to orange, that we make it a strong recommendation. So, Greg or Randy, do you have a?
Oh, get rid of the requirement, basically, it just become a recommendation or.
It looks like we're probably gonna go to orange next week. We are, you look at the Indiana map and it shows us orange, but if you click on it, it says we're in red. So,
Okay, this might be a question for Chris. If we do that, Chris, like, if one office is what, request people wearing masks, can they still do that to enter their office?
you've had that concern from,
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Yeah, his question is, if we make it just a recommendation for the whole courthouse, can a particular office in the courthouse say, no, we want people wearing masks because we don't feel safe or whatever? You know,
Oh, we're talking about the judicial side versus the other side?
no,
No?
no
Well, I think
individual
it could be
offices.
any, I mean, it
Either
could be
side.
Recorder's
Oh,
office, whatever,
okay.
yeah, just
Okay.
whomever.
Because I know the judicial office has their own set of rules that they have to follow.
They've got, yeah, the judicial office is different because that comes down from the Supreme Court.
Right.
They've got to follow that, but that only applies to their
part.
their half here of the courthouse. So, yeah, the question would be if we made a recommendation and picking on the treasurer's office, they said, no, we want everybody wearing a mask. I don't know, let me think about it.
Okay.
I don't know what I mean, you all have control of the courthouse and in terms of what you do with the masks in the courthouse. It's your job to run and administer the courthouse. So I think whatever you put in place is it's gonna be the
Well,
rule.
I know like the city offices, like it's on Chris, they did simply put up a sign, please wear a mask. And that seemed to be pretty effective, correct, Chris?
Yes, sir.
So, hopefully that will be, and people will respect, and I know which office, there's a particular office that is concerned, and it's a personal issue, so hopefully if they put a sign on their door that please wear a mask in our office, that people will respect that and come to their office, so.
And we do have the plexiglass up and all, right?
So do you want
Yes.
also, you want signs, what do you want? We've got signs around that say face coverings required.
They haven't done anything yet.
We haven't done anything yet,
Okay,
right, we're still, I mean, I just brought the subject up.
okay,
Mhm.
yeah, 'cause, I mean, we've got steps that have to be taken to enforce
Yes.
whatever you want done.
And your recommendation is not to take down the plexiglass, it's gonna leave all that up there.
I don't see any need of taking that down ever.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the working? If it goes back to orange and stuff, what about the working from home and stuff that I know some offices are doing?
That's up to
What's
the
your
individual
requirement?
office.
Still
They
leave that
have to
there?
run their office. That, I mean, is that right, Chris? If,
Yeah.
say if a department head
Okay.
wants to work there, for whatever reason,
I think
as
so.
long as we just control when the courthouse is open.
Okay, I just want to make sure,
That's the way
because I
I
know it'll be,
understand.
okay.
Yes.
Would be a question.
Yes.
So what you're saying, Tom, if it goes to red, just highly recommend mask,
Orange.
orange, then if it happened to go back to red, we'd go back full mask.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thought.
That's all changing away.
That's a lot of control to be done,
Yeah.
But
back and forth.
hopefully it goes
I
to
think
orange.
we
We
go
go to
there.
orange, we stay
Go back
there.
to
Yeah,
red.
so we're hoping.
Based on the
I
numbers
mean,
today.
the current recommendation is just in public spaces too, is what I've been told.
It was.
In public spaces too, right? The current requirement is just in public spaces. Because
Yes.
like in an office, I know they don't wear their mask, but when they go into a public space, they do, so.
Yes.
So I mean, six doesn't half another. I mean, to me, it just make it across the board, please wear a mask and go on with life, that's what I would do, but that's just me.
Okay, well, I mean, and that's what I wanted to open up for discussion.
Yeah, if you want
We're
an
looking
opinion-
at it again
Yeah, if you want an opinion, that's what I would do. I would just say,
Okay.
please wear a mask and go on with life.
from,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Whatever it is.
Okay, I mean, and that's
And what
fine
about
if you
public
want to.
venues?
uh,
Public venues where if you can't social distance, what do you want that? How do you want that handled? Or-
I don't know, I'm waiting for a motion. And that's,
That's a good question in the sense of like this when they're connected, but, can't remember what is the school's 25% or 50% capacity, and then they go on to life as well as amounts to? Could you do something like that on that? But then you're restricting the number of people that can be here.
I do want to make it as simple as possible.
Open the doors. Open the doors.
Yeah, I do want to make it as simple as possible. I mean, like Teresa said, we don't want to make it where it's just an administrative nightmare.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess what I.
That's why I was just trying to go with a flat response, you know, just keep it.
And that may be what we want to do.
Yeah.
Just from this point on, I just want to revisit the whole mask requirement, and we didn't say, well, what if next? So, I mean, Randy or Greg, or we will make a motion that we change that resolution to whatever.
I'll make a motion to change it to just please wear a mask and have it basically be a recommendation at that point.
So you're saying from this point on?
From this point on,
Whether
Doesn't
orange
matter
or
which
red.
color.
doesn't matter which color.
To say
Okay.
what?
We're, please
that
wear a mask
We're going to
from this
strongly
point on.
recommended,
Or you want please
or
wear a mask?
recommended,
Please wear a mask.
and then a
Strongly
signage say, please wear a mask, but it won't be a requirement, correct?
Yeah,
Greg?
that's right.
Starting tomorrow?
Hmm?
That would be the motion, yes.
Mhm. Starting
Tomorrow.
tomorrow?
That was his
Yeah,
motion.
sure.
Okay.
What about 12 to 1 closing?
Might as well keep that, it does allow you to do what you need to do to keep clean. I mean, that's not a burden, I don't think, to the public at that point. Do you?
I was in agreement with leaving that in place.
Yeah.
But we want to make that part of your motion?
Sure, yes,
To leave the 12 to 1?
yes, cleaning,
Yeah, and take the mask requirement to suggested?
yes.
Record, strongly encourage, and our signage will be, please wear a mask,
Yep,
okay?
And when we want to go back to some type of normal, when everything settles down on the hours, we can address that at the time.
At that time.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll second that motion then.
Okay, motion made and second. Are we clear on the motion then?
Till you get phone calls, I guess.
Okay.
no matter what we did, we get phone calls though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is a,
Starting tomorrow, wearing
You'll
a
let
mask in the
individual
courthouse will be
officers?
strongly encouraged. We'll have signs that say, please wear a mask. We'll stay closed from 12 to 1. That was the motion. Right, Greg?
Okay.
Yes.
and Randy seconded, and we'll vote in roll call. Greg?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. Motion made, second carried, 3-0.
Okay.
All right. Next meeting? Unless Randy or Greg, you have anything?
No.
There's gonna be a
sir.
question asked whether that was going to change, or is the meeting still on for, third Tuesday is September 21st. I know there was said about somebody not being able to make it, or there was
Yeah, I'll
question on
got,
attendance.
I got something going on that day, so I can't be here, but, I don't think there's gonna be much on the agenda, so just go ahead and keep it as scheduled. You guys can handle it, so.
Okay, I'm available that day, as far as I know. We never know these days.
We'll have majority, so. you know.
September's a bad month for me.
September 20th,
Okay, so it'll be Tuesday, September 21st at 8 a.m.
8 a.m. Yes.
Apparently, we're not going to be here either.
Oh, I won't be. Oh, but Susan will be here.
The sky's falling.
You got somebody.
That's right, sky's falling. Susan will be
All
here.
right, thanks, everyone.
I wanted to tell you that.